Why we chase perfection. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to Organizing with Ease. If this is your first time here, I'm Deanna Mall, your host and your guide for creating calm systems that help you live lighter and not busier. So now grab your coffee, your tea, maybe your breakfast smoothie, or whatever it might be, because we're going somewhere real today. We're talking about that invisible thing that runs our entire month of December. Okay, so can you guess what it is? Are you still in suspense? It's called perfection. You know the story. We start the season with the best intentions. We say to ourselves, this is the year I'm going to be organized, prepared, and balanced. Are you smiling to say, yeah, I already started that, and this is what I said for myself this year? Well, and then somewhere around week 2, the checklists multiply, the malls get louder, and we start to believe that if we can just get everything right, quote unquote, we'll finally feel peaceful. Well, I have to tell you something, that it doesn't come from that perfect execution. It actually comes from alignment. So I have a story to tell you from a dear friend of mine, and she actually gave me approval so I can share this story with you all. She used to live for that picture perfect holiday. You know, the one with the matching wrapping paper, color coded menus, twinkle lights on a timer. She wanted the photos to look like a magazine spread, and they actually did. But the moment the camera was turned off, she was tired and short tempered. The truth, her friends, her family, her colleagues, they didn't want a curated season. Those are the people that she loved, right? They wanted actually a connection to her and her family. And so one year, it was done last year, everything changed. Because why? She promised herself that she's going to start trying to live with curiosity instead of control. So she made her December an experiment. What if I did less and noticed more? So that month, she decorated half as much. She hosted only one gathering instead of 3 or 4 to 5 that she used to do. And she only burnt her, maybe, which was funny because I sometimes have this happen to me as well. She did her batch of cookies and she burnt them. And then, of course, she had to start all over again. I always laugh about it. It's like a family thing for me and my household. But for her and her family, that was like a new thing. But you know what? For her, it was okay. She laughed it off. But somehow, somewhere in between, that imperfect holiday was the best holiday that her and her family had ever had. And that's why we're exploring today. It's momentum over perfection, because momentum is progress in motion, even when it's messy. So let's take a deep breath, right? Or maybe even a deep dive into how the Fresh Start method can help you create a holiday that feels lighter, calmer, and still somewhat of that magical sense. Hey, friend, just a quick break before we continue. If you're already feeling that holiday rush coming on, no worries, I've got you covered. The Holiday Planner 2025 is your all in one printable to keep November and December stress free. What it includes: your holiday countdown calendar, decoration checklist, gift list, budget tracker, meal planner, oh my gosh, even a grocery list, party games, and even space for some holiday notes, all in one simple, beautiful layout. And this is the best part: it's free and it's an easy download. The link is down below in the show notes. So grab your copy today. Now, let's get back to today's episode. So, of course, what we're going to do is we simplify, right? Here we go. That's where we begin. Because why? Because this is the step that it's about, like subtracting that noise, that so that you can actually hear your own happiness. So think of your energy as a battle. Every invitation, task, and tradition draws a little power. Simplifying is deciding where that power actually belongs. So I had a client of mine, she told me she dreaded the month of December. She was the family planner. She was the one that did the decor, the meals, the cards, the school events. She did it all. And so when we mapped out her month, she had, get this one, over 27 separate commitments. So what we did was we cut it in half and nothing fell apart. Her kids still had a magical Christmas. Her parents still felt loved. The only difference for her was that she was able to sleep through the night. Here's a stat. YouGov found that 70% of people enjoy the holidays simplify their plans. So ask yourself, what am I holding on to because I quote unquote always have, not because it still serves me? Maybe it's sending 250 cards with a handful of heartfelt notes would mean so much more, right? Maybe it's hosting when you'd rather just cozy up at someone else's table instead and just bring a meal. Simplifying isn't about quitting, it's about right sizing your effort to fit your season of life. Here's a simple exercise. You ready? What if you would just do like a would anyone notice list? And you're probably like thinking, what? Another list of what? So, no, just hear me out on this one. This is where you would actually write down what you do actually for the holidays. Okay? Like literally write it down. Everything that you do for the holidays. And you want to then circle the things that actually no one would even notice if they disappeared. And that's your permission slip to release. So, an example would be okay, so instead of all those teacher gifts and all those little notes, what if you just did teacher gifts with one generic note, right? And little handwritten to and from, and you're good to go. Those are small little things, right? Those are little things, simple exercises that people really wouldn't take note of how exact for the perfection, but it's the thought that counts, right? Instead of maybe giving 10 gifts to others, give them 5 meaningful ones to your colleagues, to your clients, to whoever it might be, right? To your family. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress by Sheryl Sandberg. Progress feels lighter than perfect ever will. So after we simplify, remember, we keep those tasks, we kind of do it, but then we lessen what we do. And sometimes we just actually just don't do them at all. So then we want to tweak them, okay? This is where the momentum starts to build. We're not reinventing the wheel because, gosh, that's wasted time. We're greasing the gears, as one could say, right? So during the holidays, tiny systems save massive energy. And I call that like the holiday buffers because they absorb the stress before it reaches you. And that's what you want. You don't want to have the stress attack you right away, right? So a client actually created a bin, labeled bin, that says the holiday hub. And there she had scissors, tape, tags, ribbons, extra cards, and batteries for the toys, because that's always needed. It lives in one spot, the closet by the kitchen. That worked for her. Now she doesn't have to hunt for anything, and actually, if somebody asks for something, she then directs to where they need to go, and they find it. One small tweak turned hours of frustration into what? 5 minutes of ease. Another client, she actually does what she calls, quote unquote, the hosting kit, is where she has some towels, scented candles, and emergency serving spoons. So when guests show up, she's ready, just in case. Just in case, she says. I always need that little something as a backup. The Nielsen research shows that people who batch seasonal tasks save 25% of their time compared to those who multitask. So I also tweak my meal planning. So this time during the holidays, I actually do it 2 times a week, not just the one time. And I also, on the second time around, I do order then non-perishables a little bit early. I do like the freezer items a little bit, also a little bit earlier. And I also prep, trust me when I say this, because I really do. I prep breakfast bakes on Sunday just to make it easy for me during the holiday season. It's simple, it's repeatable, and guess what? It's done. So, where you want to ask yourself, where am I losing the time of repetition? Can I group tasks? Can I label once? Can I automate a reminder? So for me, I love automations. I like placing things on my phone. I like getting that little reminder. I actually give myself 2 to 3 reminder alerts. If it allows, I do all those that gives me those reminder alerts ahead of time so that I know that I can actually stay on target. And it's such a nice refresher to get those reminders. I don't know about you, but I love getting those reminders because then I don't forget and I can just cross it off my list. So efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things by Peter Drucker. So every tweak you make is a vote for ease. And every ease is what keeps momentum alive when the calendar gets crowded during this month of December. And then we're going to do a little bit of a reset. So we simplify, we tweak, and now we're on the third one, which is what? Reset. Because guess what? Resetting isn't stopping, it's actually aligning. This is where we have to think that productivity equals motion, but momentum comes from recovery. So now during the holiday, I actually do schedule micro resets. So from my morning coffee, alone with my sunrise, my all of that stuff that I really continuously do, which are non-negotiables, I actually do even a mini micro reset, which is a 5 minute, like a doorway pause, you might want to call it, before I walk into a busy room. Just at the end of the day when everything is crazy, I light a candle, which I do in the kitchen, which is great. So these tiny moments signal my brain to say, you're safe, you can breathe. A teacher friend of mine added a 2 minute desk reset after each school day in December, which now she rolls over into the new year, which was and is to wipe down her desk, get it all ready and prepped for the good morning start the next day. And because she completely changed how she was able to do that, it actually changed her brain and her function when she actually walked through her door at home because she already knew that her classroom was ready to go for the next day and she didn't need to worry about it. The American Institute of Stress reports that intentional quiet breaks improve focus and lower anxiety for 61% of people. And here's another way of looking at that. You ready? Resetting reminds your body that peace is not a reward you earn after like a work day, full work day. It's actually a strategy that makes your work even possible. So, what would it be like if you like to protect that one evening a week as what we would call the no plan zone, or maybe that 5 minutes of quiet time before you go to bed? So you're probably saying, yeah, that's really great. Thanks a lot, Deanna, for the reminders. But how could I? Well, all right. So you ready for this? Just a quick little tip. To get you started, you might actually want to put it in your calendar like you would like an appointment. And you would then, label it however it is. Free time, 5 minute time, no plan zone time, whatever it might be, and actually make it as an appointment to remind yourself that you're really serious about it. Because rest is not idleness, it is preparation. So when you reset, you don't lose the momentum. You know what you do instead? You actually restore it. So let's just do some tying in of what we just talked about, okay? So let's just do what I would call the real life framework so that you can try it out this week, okay? And it's the 3x3 momentum check in. Super easy. You ready? You pick three spaces to simplify. Maybe it's the entryway, maybe it's even your calendar, or just hear me out on this one, your mental load, because we are during the holidays, our mental status sometimes is in overload sometimes. I mean, I can attest, not sometimes for me, it's all the time in December. But I have actually tweaked everything. So now pick three systems to tweak. So you're going to pick three systems to simplify, pick three systems to tweak. It could be, the meal planning, the gift storage, maybe even like a laundry rotation, which actually maybe might be doubling up during the months of December. And then you want to pick 3 moments to reset: the morning, midday, night, you pick. Okay. You write them down. You could write them down on a sticky note. You can write them down on your calendar. You can write them down on your phone, however you keep track of your things. You want to also make sure that you somewhat see it and make it visible. So if you have that command center in the kitchen, you might want to have it written down there off to the side so that you can actually see it when you walk by. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start to see patterns, and those patterns will become your personal holiday playbook. So here we are. Momentum is built through rhythm, not through rush. So every time you revisit these three steps, you actually are teaching yourself what peace feels like in real time. So let's do like a quick review. Ready? We're going to simplify what's in front of you. Then we're going to tweak that routine. And then we're going to reset your pace. So, your challenge for this week is to pick that one action under each one of those: simplify, tweak, and reset. Just one. Because those small shifts done consistently outlast big changes done at once. So, protect your energy like you protect your calendar, intentionally, lovingly, and without guilt. So, you don't need a perfect December, my friend. You just need a peaceful one. When I look back at my own holidays, it's never the flawless moments I remember. I have to tell you, it's the ones that were real. The messy kitchen, the half tangled lights, I still laugh about it. It's the laughter that's in between. It's those missing light bulbs, finding those light bulbs, finding the ornaments, broken ornaments. Where did I place this ornament? Where's that pickle ornament?